Before they were married, I was walking down the street with my brother. His girlfriend mistook me for his mistress and punched me in the face. My eye socket shattered and I lost sight in one eye. Her excuse? She laughed and stuck out her tongue. Sorry, my eyesight is bad. I misjudged. I'm marrying your brother soon. So we're family. Let's not hold grudges, okay? My mother and brother told me to let it go. They said I shouldn't ruin his happiness after they got married. I was taking a shower in my own home. My sister-in-law kicked the door open and poured a pot of boiling water over me. I suffered severe burns all over my body. She cried and threw herself into my brother's arms. I just love you too much. I can't stand any other woman near you. My brother was moved by her love and forgave her. I was dumped in a hospital by my family and left to rot. I died of sepsis. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day before I went shopping with my brother. Hannah's birthday is coming up. I need to get her a gift. Sis. Come help me pick something out. Tom shook my shoulder, jolting me awake. Phantom pain of boiling water searing my skin lingered for a second. I frantically rolled up my sleeve. But my arm was smooth and unscared. What are you doing? Let's go. Tom urged, his voice louder now. I glanced at my phone. The date confirmed it. I had been reborn. I can't, I said, clutching my stomach and frowning. Cramps. Bad. Bad ones. I'm not going anywhere. You're so dramatic. My mom's voice cut in as she walked into the room. She grabbed my arm and yanked me off the bed. It's just cramps. Stop faking it. Get up and go with your brother. I fell to the floor, unprepared for the shove. It hurt, but I didn't care. Right now, my priority was saving my eye. Mom, why don't you go with Tom? You have better taste than me. If Hannah knows you picked it out, she'll be even happier. Mom rolled her eyes. I'm busy. I knew the drill. Tom wanted me to go so I would pay. Mom knew it, too. Which is why she didn't want to go. I pulled out my phone and Venmo. Tom. $500 here, my treat. Buy yourself some new clothes for the season while you're at it. Seeing the money, Mom's expression softened instantly. Tom, realizing he had a payer stopped caring who went with him. Fine. Mom. Go change. Let's head out. Mom turned toward her bedroom. And I followed. Mom. Wear this one, I said, pulling a bright red jacket from her closet. It makes you look younger and gives you a great complexion. She put it on without a second thought. I watched them leave and let out a breath. I didn't know I was holding. But I didn't stay home. I followed them. Tom and Mom went straight to the mall. Tom knew exactly what he wanted. The luxury counters on the first floor. I watched from a distance. Hidden behind a pillar. Soon, a familiar figure appeared. Hannah, Tom's girlfriend, walked in. Arm in arm with her best friend. Hannah, look. Isn't that your boyfriend? The friend pointed. Hannah squinted. She saw Tom walking arm in arm with a woman. They were laughing, looking intimate. Because of the angle and the woman's loose hair, Hannah couldn't see her face. But she didn't need to. It was a woman. That was enough. Unbelievable. He tells me he's shopping for my gift. But he's actually out with some skank. Watch me teach her a lesson. Hannah rolled up her sleeves and charged Tom. She screamed. Tom. And Mom turned around at the sound of his name. In that split second, Hannah's fist connected squarely with Mom's eye socket. Crack. Ah. Mom screamed, stumbling back. Clutching her face. You must be desperate. Hannah shrieked. You're hooking up with a grandma. If you want to break up, just say so. Tom stood frozen in shock before rushing to support Mom. Seeing him help the other woman only fueled Hannah's rage. Kill you, you old homewrecker. Shameless old hag. Are you crazy? Tom roared. This is my mother. Hannah's hand froze in midair. What? Mom was wailing in agony. My eye. It hurts. I can't see. Tom. My eye. Auntie. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought you were. Hannah tried to reach out. But Mom slapped her hand away. Get me to the hospital now. They rushed out, ignoring Hannah completely. Hannah stood there for a moment, realizing she had just punched her future mother-in-law. But she wasn't about to lose her meal ticket. She ran after them, watching the chaos unfold. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. In my last life, I was the one walking next to Tom. I didn't even touch him. But Hannah saw us and decided I was his mistress. She sucker punched me. Even after Tom explained I was his sister. She refused to believe it. She kept hitting me and blocked me from going to the hospital. By the time I got treatment, it was too late. I lost my left eye. When I wanted to press charges, she played the victim. I have bad eyesight. You two were too close. Siblings should have boundaries. You only lost one eye. Are you really going to ruin your brother's happiness over that? You're so selfish. I was furious. But Mom snatched my phone and slapped me. You troublemaker. It's just an eye. You still have one left. You want your brother to be alone forever? Because of my disability, I lost my promotion. My boss moved me to a dead-end admin job. Making coffee. Later, Hannah came home early and found Tom alone. She heard the shower running and assumed he had a woman over. She boiled a pot of water, kicked the bathroom door open, and threw it without looking. It was me. I screamed as my skin melted off. Hannah laughed. Die, homewrecker. When the steam cleared and she saw it was me, she gasped, Sister. Why are you showering in the middle of the day? Are you trying to seduce my husband? I called 911 myself, naked and burning. While I needed skin grafts, Tom and Mom stole my savings and told the doctors to stop treatment. Let her go. It's too expensive. I died of infection. On my deathbed. Hannah sneered at me. Next time, stay away from other people's husbands. My funeral. They told everyone I had seduced my own brother. And that my death was karma. I died in agony and shame. But God gave me a second chance. And this time, this family of vipers was going to pay. Tom called me from the ambulance, screaming for me to come to the hospital. When I arrived, the doctor was examining Mom. Hannah looked me up and down. Who are you? In this life. I had kept my distance from Tom specifically to avoid her wrath. I smiled. You must be Hannah. I'm Tom's sister. You two are perfect for each other. Hannah didn't respond. She looked pale. Her punch at the mall had been full force. She had meant to maim Mom's eyeball had ruptured on impact. Blood was still oozing from the corner of her eye. The doctor sighed. We have to remove the eye immediately to prevent infection. Mom gasped and fainted with her one good eye rolling back. I rushed forward, wailing theatrically. Oh, Mom. My poor mother. Who did this to you? How will you live? As a cyclops? My wailing woke Mom up. She remembered her attacker. She leaped up, grabbing Hannah by the hair with one hand. And slapping her with the other. You bitch. Give me back my eye. Give it back. Hannah was a bully. But she couldn't fight. She screamed for Tom to help. Tom stood there, useless. Trying to pull them apart. Tom, break up with this psycho right now. She is never stepping foot in my house. Mom screamed. Hannah, battered and crying, clung to Tom's arm. Babe, I'm sorry. I just loved you too much. I lost my mind. She turned to Mom. Auntie. I'll make it up to you. I'll marry into your family and take care of you forever. I'll be your eyes. Tom's face lit up. He was satisfied. He got the girl and the caretaker. But Mom wasn't having it. Get out. I don't want a lunatic like you. She glared at Tom. If you stay with her, you're dead to me. I stepped in to mediate. Okay, everyone calm down. Mom is emotional. You two wait outside. I'll talk to her. Hannah sat on the bench. Rubbing her swollen face, Mom sat next to her. I went back into the room. Hannah had to marry Tom. They deserved each other. I needed them under one roof so they could destroy each other. I sat next to Mom. Mom? Calm down. Think about the future. Mom glared at me. What do you mean? A few minutes later, I called the lovebirds back in. I agree to let you marry my son. Mom said to Hannah. Hannah beamed, opening her mouth to thank her. But I have conditions, Mom interrupted. First, you blinded me. You pay for the surgery and the hospital stay. Second, no dowry. No wedding gifts. If it weren't for Tom, I'd have you arrested. You'd go to prison for assault. Hannah frowned at the no dowry part. Mom immediately reached for her phone to dial 911. I jumped in. Hannah. Think about it. Once you're married, we're family. Money ruins relationships. If Mom presses charges, you'll have a criminal record. Your future kids won't be able to get government jobs. Tom, realizing he wouldn't have to pay a dowry, immediately sided with us. Outnumbered, Hannah agreed. Her parents, hearing she had blinded her future mother-in-law, were too ashamed to argue. Since Mom needed surgery, there was no wedding. They just signed the papers at the courthouse. Mom lost her eye. I bought her a pirate patch. Hannah moved in. Mom made it her mission to make Hannah's life hell. But they were newlyweds. So Tom and Hannah were still in the honeymoon phase. Hannah, however, couldn't stop being paranoid. One day she asked Tom to drive her to her parents' house. When she got in the car, she noticed the passenger seat had been moved forward. It didn't explode immediately. She waited until she got home. "Sis," she asked me casually. "Did you sit in Tom's car recently? Did you adjust the seat?" I looked confused. "Me? No." "Why?" "Me? No." "Why?" I looked at Hannah with wide, innocent eyes, pausing as I folded a shirt. "I have my own car. I haven't been in Tom's sedan in months. Besides, I have long legs." I pushed the seat back, not forward. Hannah's grip on her purse tightened until her knuckles turned white. Her eyes darted around the living room, mannequin twitching. It was pulled all the way up. Like someone small sat there. Someone petite. I let a beat of silence hang in the air, just long enough for her imagination to fester. Then I shrugged. Maybe he gave a ride to a colleague? Or maybe Mom used it? "Your mother hasn't left the house in 3 days because of her eye," Hannah snapped, though her voice wavered. "And Tom told me he was in meetings all day. He said he didn't drive anyone." I offered a sympathetic, pitying smile, the kind that hurts more than a slap. "Well, Tom is friendly. You know that. He probably just didn't want you to worry. He has a hard time saying no to people. Especially women in distress." Hannah's jaw clenched. "Women in distress? You know, like you were," I said softly. "Tom loves being a hero. It's his weakness." I watched the poison take hold. In my previous life, I would have defended Tom. I would have told her he's loyal, that the seat probably slid forward when he braked hard. But this time, I watered the weeds in her mind. That night, the shouting started at 2 a.m. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the muffled thuds and high-pitched screams coming from the master bedroom. Hannah was accusing him. Tom was denying it, his voice whiny and defensive. "Who is she? Is she the one from the mall?" Hannah shrieked. "You're crazy." I moved it to vacuum the floor mats. Tom yelled back. A crash followed, likely a lamp. Then silence. I rolled over and slept like a baby. Chapter 2, The House of Vipers. Life in the house became a suffocating cycle of psychological warfare. Since Mom lost her eye, she had transformed into a tyrant. She refused to work, claiming her disability made her dizzy, and demanded Hannah wait on her hand and foot. "Water." Mom would bang her cane on the floor. "Not this temperature. It's too cold. Are you trying to freeze my stomach?" Hannah, trying to atone for the blinding and desperate to keep Tom, would scurry back to the kitchen. But I saw the look in Hannah's eyes. It wasn't remorse anymore. It was a simmering, pressurized rage. I made sure to keep myself scarce, playing the role of the overworked, supportive sister. I spent long hours at the office, where I had secured the promotion I lost in my last life, and only came home to stir the pot. One evening, I brought home a box of expensive pastries. "Oh, Tom," I said at the dinner table, "I saw your assistant, Jessica, today. She asked about you. Said she missed your coffee runs." Tom froze, a forkful of rice halfway to his mouth. Hannah's head snapped up. "Jessica?" Hannah asked, her voice dangerously low. "The one with the big chest?" "She's very nice," I added helpfully. "She was wearing this beautiful perfume." "Tom, didn't you say you liked that scent once? Vanilla and jasmine?" Tom kicked me under the table. "I don't know what you're talking about. Eat your food." Hannah didn't eat another bite. She just stared at Tom, dissecting his every movement. Later that week, Hannah began her counteroffensive against Mom. She stopped fighting back with words and started using incompetence. She added heaps of salt to Mom's soup. She accidentally shrank Mom's favorite wool sweaters in the wash. She left the hallway lights off so Mom, with her limited depth perception, would bump into walls. "You useless idiot!" Mom screamed one morning after tripping over a vacuum cord Hannah had left spanning the hallway. "You're trying to kill me." "I didn't see it, Mom," Hannah droned, her voice devoid of emotion. "Maybe if you had 2 eyes, you'd watch where you were going." Mom gasped. She grabbed a decorative vase and hurled it at Hannah. Hannah ducked, and the vase shattered against the wall. Tom stood in the middle, looking exhausted and disheveled. "Stop it. Both of you. I have a headache. Your wife is abusing me." Mom wailed, pointing a trembling finger. "Kick her out. If you kick me out, I go to the police about your tax evasion, Tom, Hannah said coolly. I raised an eyebrow from the couch. I didn't know about the tax evasion, but it made sense. Tom and Mom were always cutting corners. Everyone, please, I interjected, stepping forward. Tom, why don't you go take a shower and relax? Hannah, I'll help you clean this up. Tom fled to the bathroom. As soon as the door clicked shut, I leaned in close to Hannah. He's taking his phone into the bathroom a lot lately, isn't he? I whispered. Hannah's eyes darkened. She dropped the broom and marched toward the bathroom door. Chapter 3, Boiling Point. The déjà vu was intoxicating. I sat in the living room, heart pounding, waiting for history to rhyme. In the previous life, Hannah had kicked open the door and thrown boiling water on me because she thought I was a mistress. Now, Tom was in there. And while Hannah didn't have a pot of boiling water ready, she had something else. Earlier, I had mentioned to Hannah that the lock on the bathroom door was sticky and that if someone was hiding inside, they could be trapped. I also mentioned that Tom had changed his passcode, which was true, I had seen him do it. Hannah pounded on the door. Tom. Open up. Who are you texting? I'm on the toilet. Leave me alone. Tom yelled. Open it or I'll break it down. You're psycho. This is why I stay late at work. That was the wrong thing to say. Hannah didn't kick the door. She went to the kitchen and grabbed a heavy-duty screwdriver. She went to work on the handle, frantically unscrewing the plate. Inside, we heard the water running. Then, a distinct ping of a notification. He's receiving nudes, Hannah muttered to herself, her hands shaking. I know it. She got the door open. She didn't find a mistress. She found Tom sitting on the toilet, scrolling through Instagram. But on the screen, which I saw as I peeked over her shoulder, was a picture of a girl in a bikini. It was a random influencer, but to Hannah, it was a confession. Hannah lunged. She snatched the phone and smashed it against the tiled wall. You pervert. You cheater. She began clawing at his face. Tom, pants around his ankles, tried to fend her off. He shoved her back. Hannah slipped on the wet floor and cracked her head against the sink. Blood gushed. My head. Hannah screamed. You hit me. Domestic abuse. Mom appeared in the doorway, seeing Hannah on the floor and Tom panting. Mom didn't help Hannah. She laughed. A cruel, cackling sound. Good. Show her who's boss, son. Hannah touched her head, looked at the blood on her fingers, and her eyes rolled back in her head. Not from fainting, but from a sudden, snapping shift in reality. She looked up at Mom, then at Tom. You all want me dead, she whispered. You're all in on it. She scrambled up and ran out of the house. Chapter 4, The Severance. For 3 days, Hannah didn't return. The house was peaceful, but the tension was thick. Tom was terrified she would go to the cops. Mom was just glad the witch was gone. I knew better. I knew Hannah. She wasn't running away, she was gathering ammunition. I used this time to finalize my exit. I found a luxury apartment on the other side of the city. I moved my valuables out slowly, bit by bit. I went to the bank and removed my name from the joint emergency account I had foolishly shared with Mom years ago. I left exactly $5 in the account. When I got home that Friday, the locks had been changed. Not by us, by Hannah. I knocked. Hannah opened the door. She looked unhinged. Her hair was greasy, her eyes bloodshot, and she was wearing one of Mom's silk robes. Family meeting, she said, grinning crookedly. Inside, Tom and Mom were tied to dining chairs. My heart skipped a beat. This was escalating faster than I anticipated. I had to play this perfectly. Hannah, I said calmly. What are you doing? They tried to kill me, Hannah said, pacing around the room with a kitchen knife. So we're going to talk. We're going to renegotiate our marriage contract. Let me go, you lunatic. Mom spat, though she looked terrified. The pirate patch over her eye had slipped, revealing the stitched, sunken lid. Shut up, Cyclops. Hannah waved the knife. Hannah, I said, keeping my voice steady. I'm on your side. Remember? I told you about Jessica. I told you about the car seat. I'm the only one who tells you the truth. Hannah paused, looking at me. That's true. You're okay. You can sit. I sat at the table, unbound. Here's the deal, Hannah announced. Tom, you are going to transfer the deed of the house to my name. As insurance. And Mom, you are going to sign over your pension checks to me for pain and suffering. Never. Mom screamed. Then I start cutting fingers, Hannah said, grabbing Tom's hand. Do it. Sign it. Tom shrieked, weeping. Mom, just give her the money. You coward. Mom yelled at her son. I watched them turn on each other. It was beautiful. Hannah, I interjected softly. The deed is in a safe deposit box. Tom can't get it right now. But I know where Mom keeps her jewelry. The gold heirlooms. Mom's one eye widened in betrayal. You traitorous bitch. It's under the floorboards in her closet, I told Hannah. Loose panel in the back corner. Hannah's eyes lit up. Watch them, she ordered me, and ran to the bedroom. As soon as she was gone, I walked over to Tom. Untie me. Quick. Tom begged. I leaned down. Tom, do you remember when I was in the hospital in the last timeline? Oh wait. You don't. But do you remember when I had cramps the other day, and you dragged me out to pay for your shopping? What are you talking about? Just cut the ropes. I'm not going to untie you, Tom. I'm leaving. What? I'm leaving. Hannah is going to find the jewelry, and then she's going to come back here. And I think she's going to realize that gold isn't enough. I walked to the front door. Where are you going? Mom screamed. She'll kill us. I hope not, I said. But if she does, I'll be sure to cry at the funeral. I've practiced. I walked out the door, but I didn't leave the property. I went to the neighbors, the nosy ones, and told them, I think I heard screaming next door. My brother and his wife are fighting again. It sounds bad. You might want to call the police in 20 minutes? I wanted time for the damage to be done, but I needed witnesses to confirm I wasn't in the house. Chapter 5, The Kettle Sings. I waited in my car down the street. The police arrived 30 minutes later. I found out the details from the police report and the court hearings later. When Hannah came back and found the jewelry, she was ecstatic. But Mom, never knowing when to shut up, had managed to loosen her gag. She started screaming insults at Hannah, calling her barren, calling her a whore, telling her that Tom was sleeping with Jessica, a lie I had planted, which Mom now believed. Hannah snapped. She went to the kitchen. She filled the large stock pot, the same one she had used on me in the previous life. She put it on the stove. Tom tried to tip his chair over to escape, but he fell sideways and couldn't get up. When the water boiled, Hannah didn't throw it immediately. She dragged the pot to the living room. You want to talk about heat? Hannah whispered. She poured the water. Not on me this time. She poured it over Tom's crotch. The screams that echoed through the neighborhood were what finally prompted the neighbors to call 911 before I even asked them to. Mom watched her golden son, her pride and joy, writhe in agony as his skin peeled. The shock gave Mom a massive heart attack. She slumped over in her chair, dead before the ambulance arrived. Hannah didn't run. She sat on the floor, stirring the remaining water with a spoon, singing happy birthday to herself. Chapter 6, The Aftermath. The funeral was closed casket for Mom. Tom didn't attend, he was in the burn unit, undergoing his third skin graft. I wore black, big sunglasses, and a veil. I looked the part of the grieving sister perfectly. It's a tragedy, I told the relatives who had shunned me in my past life. Hannah just snapped. I tried to warn them. I tried to mediate. You poor thing, my aunt said. You're all alone now. I'll manage, I said, dabbing a dry eye. I visited Tom in the hospital once. He was bandaged from the waist down. The doctors said he would survive, but the damage was extensive. He would never have children. He would likely be in pain for the rest of his life. And the infection risk was high, ironic. Sis, he croaked, his voice rasping from the smoke inhalation. Hannah had tried to light the curtains on fire before the cops burst in. Help me. I need money for the surgeries. Mom's pension is gone. I stood at the foot of his bed. The smell of antiseptic was strong, triggering a phantom memory of my own death. Tom, I said. I used my savings to pay for Mom's funeral. I'm broke. Sell the house. The house is a crime scene. And besides, I pulled a document from my purse. Mom signed the house over to me a month ago to hide assets from the taxman. Remember? She hadn't, but forgery was a skill I had picked up in my admin job. And with Mom dead and Tom incapacitated, no one would contest it. I'm selling it, I said. But I'm keeping the money. You stole my savings in the last life. Consider this repayment. Last life? What are you saying? You're crazy. Maybe, I smiled. But I'm the one walking out of here. I leaned in close. Hannah pleads insanity. She'll be in a mental institution. But the doctors say she'll be released in maybe 10, 15 years. She still loves you, Tom. She writes you letters. I told the nurses to read them to you every day. Tom's eyes widened in pure, unadulterated horror. The beep of his heart monitor accelerated. Enjoy your recovery, brother. Epilogue, a new vision. 5 years later. I sat on the balcony of my penthouse, overlooking the ocean. The breeze was cool, smelling of salt and freedom. I had sold the family house for a fortune. I had invested wisely. I was free. I took a sip of my wine and picked up the letter that had arrived that morning. It was from the state psychiatric facility. Dear MS. My name. We regret to inform you that patient Hannah Smith has escaped custody during a transfer. Given her history and her fixation on your brother, we have placed a protective detail at Mr. Tom's long-term care facility. However, we have not been able to locate her. I put the letter down and smiled. Tom was currently living in a state-funded nursing home, unable to walk, rotting away in his own filth because he had no money for private care. He lived in constant fear of germs, infections, and now, his wife. I picked up my phone and dialed the number of the nursing home. Hello? Yes, this is Tom's sister. I'd like to cancel the extra security detail I was paying for. Ma'am? But the police alert. Oh, don't worry, I said, watching the sunset. They're family. They need to work it out amongst themselves. I hung up. Somewhere out there, Hannah was looking for her husband. And Tom, trapped in his bed, would hear every creak of the floorboards, every opening door, wondering if it was the nurse, or his true love coming to finish the job. I closed my eyes, both of them perfectly healthy, and listened to the sound of the waves. The nightmare was over. Mine, at least. Theirs was just beginning.